Well, let's bring in a pair of China experts to discuss Mr. Musk's comments. David Sachs is a research fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, and John Rutledge is chief investment strategist at Safanad and a CNBC contributor. John, let me begin with you. Does Mr. Musk speak the way he does about China and Taiwan because he must?
Well, I think the most important part about Elon's interview was how slow he spoke and how carefully he chose his words. He's in a position where he can be seriously punished by Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping does take revenge on people. The twins example Elon gave is not the right one. The right one is if Taiwan were taken out, we would be like severing our brain because the world economy won't work without TSM and the chips that come out of Taiwan today.
David Sachs, why don't you react to that? And do you? There seemed to be, in what I heard from Musk, a kind of sense of inevitability of the coming reunification, whenever it comes, of China and Taiwan, and the consequences that could bring.
He was right that China's policy is to achieve unification with Taiwan by force if necessary. That has long been China's policy since the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949. But I think he has it wrong that this is an inevitability and nothing can be done to prevent this outcome. We certainly have a vote in this, and the United States can do a lot more to alter Xi Jinping's cost-benefit calculus. I think Xi is a rational actor. I think that he looks at Mr. Putin's struggles in Ukraine and doesn't want to repeat those mistakes. And if the United States can prove to Xi Jinping that an attack on Taiwan or a blockade would be a fool's errand, then I think he would think twice about it.
David, what should Apple do?
Well, Apple's in a very tough position. The most advanced chip that they need for their products is made not only in one place, which is Taiwan, it's made in actually one building on TSMC's sprawling campus. Intel and others don't have the ability to manufacture chips that are that advanced. The United States is taking some steps to try to lessen that vulnerability, I would say, with TSMC opening a factory in Arizona, the CHIPS Act, and things like that. But we would be fooling ourselves if we think that we can become self-sufficient in chips. So I think this is a major vulnerability from Apple. They are trying to shift some production out of China to places like India. But regarding the actual reliance on TSMC for chips, I don't see that going away anytime soon.
John, Mr. Xi Jinping is an autocrat, and you have a risk whenever you're dealing with an autocrat. Autocrats can be erratic, where consensus government tends to sort of coalesce around a median kind of performance. Is our best course here just to wait out Xi Jinping and hope that he leaves the scene one way or another?
Well, it is, Tyler. You know, the problem with autocrats is that we don't have the advantage of the law of large numbers or the central limit theorem. That is, one guy wakes up in the morning with a headache and he can make problems for all of us. Now, the PRC and I are both the same age. I think that Taiwan will still be here when I'm gone. And China has wanted to absorb Taiwan for the last 74 years and will continue to do so. The danger is that it's not now the people's government of the consensus of 100 people across the street from the Great Hall of the People. This is Xi Jinping, and he wants to get this done during his lifetime. So if he becomes impatient, he could make a real problem. I think David's right that the troubles in Ukraine at the moment should give him pause, especially of the last week, shooting down the mighty supersonic missiles. And my hope is that this just goes on long enough so that we can just all get back to business. The young people in China are very easy to get along with. It's the Mao generation that's the problem. And Xi Jinping is probably the last leader you'll see from that generation. Yeah. So cross my fingers, and I'm still owning TSM, and I expect to buy more.